You think complaining about your day is just harmless venting, or that filling an awkward silence makes you seem friendly. You probably assume that showing your raw, emotional reactions makes you look authentic. You're wrong. These aren't harmless habits. They're signals of weakness, and you're broadcasting them to rivals who are just waiting to take advantage. They're leaks in your armor, invitations for disrespect, and the real reason you feel overlooked in rooms you're supposed to command. In the world of power, what you don't say matters more than what you do. Silence isn't empty. Space eats a weapon. Restraint isn't passivity. It's Niccolo Machiavelli figured this out centuries ago. The person who controls the room is the loudest one. It's the most composed. He taught that the perception of power is power, and every emotional outburst, every pointless word, is a crack in that perception. In this video, you're going to learn the ancient art of strategic restraint. We're not talking about abstract philosophy here. We're giving you a toolkit. These are the Machiavellian rules for dominating any social setting without saying a word. Before we start, you have to accept one uncomfortable truth. The social world is playground for sincere people to support each other. It's a strategic battlefield. Every interaction, whether it's a boardroom meeting or a casual chat, is a subtle negotiation for status and respect. Machiavelli's genius wasn't about being cruel. It was his brutal honesty. He looked at the world as it is, not as it should be. And the reality is that people are driven by self-interest, ambition, and fear. They're constantly, often subconsciously, sizing up your strengths and weaknesses. That casual sigh of frustration after a long day. They notice that nervous laugh to fill a silence. It gets filed away. That passionate, unfiltered rant about something unfair. It's a blueprint of your triggers, handed over for free to anyone who might want to use it against you. Modern culture tells you to be authentic, to share your feelings. And while that might be good advice for close relationships built on trust, in public, it's strategic suicide. Unfiltered authenticity is a luxury the powerful can't afford. Machiavelli taught that a leader has to be a master of appearances. This isn't about being fake. It's about being disciplined. It's knowing that your internal feelings and your public image are two completely different things. One is for you. The other is a tool for influencing the world. If you can't control your own emotions, how can you hope to control how others see you? If you're a slave to your every impulse, your anger, your anxiety, your need for validation aren't in command. You're just reacting. And the person who only reacts loses. The person who stays still, observes, and acts with purpose, that's the one who holds the real power. This is the core of Machiavellian control. Become unreadable. Project an aura of unshakable calm, and let other people reveal themselves in their rush to fill the void you create. Your restraint becomes a gravitational force, pulling everyone's attention and anxieties toward you. They'll become desperate to know what you're thinking. In their desperation, they'll make mistakes. They'll talk too much. They'll expose their own weaknesses. And you, having said nothing, will have learned everything. Now, let's break down the 9 behaviors you must cut out of your public life. These aren't just suggestions. They're laws. Follow them, and you'll build a fortress of silent authority. Ignore them, and you'll stay a pawn in someone else's game. The first and most important law is to gain absolute mastery over your public face. You have to learn to smile when you're furious. You have to learn to project calm when your heart is pounding. You must, as Machiavelli advised, appear unshakable, even if you're crumbling inside. Why? Because in the arena of public life, nobody protects the wounded. Vulnerability doesn't invite compassion, it invites predators. Think of your emotions like currency. Every time you show an uncontrolled feeling in public, you're spending that currency. An outburst of anger, a moment of visible frustration, these aren't seen as signs of passion. They're seen as a loss of control. And a person who can't control themselves isn't fit to lead. Your rival at the office sees your frustration with a project and notes that you get overwhelmed easily. The person you're negotiating with sees your anxiety and knows they can push for more. The modern world pushes the myth that vulnerability is strength. It's a seductive lie. While sharing vulnerabilities can build deep bonds with a few trusted people, in the wider world, It's just handing your enemies a weapon. Look at the figures who command true respect and a little bit of fear. They're masters of the impassive face. They deal with their rage, sorrow, and panic in private. Publicly, they present a mask of complete control. This isn't about being a robot. It's about understanding the theater of power. Think about the modern version. The social media rant. Someone feels wronged and unleashes a torrent of raw, emotional text or a tearful video. In the moment, it feels good. They get a flood of sympathy. But what's the long-term result? They've branded themselves as emotionally unstable. Future employers, partners, and rivals who see that will file it away. This person cracks under pressure. This person is easily provoked. The Machiavellian alternative is strategic composure. When you're insulted, you offer a slight, knowing smile, as if you're watching a child's tantrum. When you're praised, you accept it with quiet dignity, not giddy excitement. When you feel anger rising, you don't suppress it, you channel it. You let it cool and harden into a quiet resolve. This cold, disciplined fury is a much better fuel for action than a hot, explosive outburst. Your job is to train your face to be a blank canvas. Practice it. When you're stressed, feel the emotion rise. Acknowledge it, and then consciously relax your facial muscles. Keep your breathing steady. Your composure will become a source of immense psychological power. It unnerves people. They can't read you, so they can't predict you. An unpredictable opponent is a feared opponent. They'll project their own insecurities onto your silence, imagining you're more powerful and calculating than you might actually be. And as Machiavelli knew, in the game of power, what people imagine is what becomes reality. Power doesn't plead. It doesn't get dragged into long debates to justify itself. It states its case, once, with clarity, and then lets silence do the rest. The moment you start arguing or explaining yourself over and over, you've already lost. First, by showing you think your first statement wasn't good enough, and second, by making your audience the judge. A raised voice isn't a sign of conviction. It's a sign of desperation. It means your logic has failed, and now you have to resort to volume. Look at any high-stakes environment. The person with real authority rarely shouts. They speak calmly, deliberately, and with finality. Their words have weight because they're used sparingly. The junior executive, desperate to be heard, raises his voice. The CEO silences the room with a quiet, firm statement. The same thing goes for over-explaining. When you defend a decision with a ton of justifications, you're not making a stronger case. Use strong, declarative sentences. Avoid weak words like I think or maybe. Once you've spoken, embrace the silence. Don't rush to fill it. Let the weight of your statement settle. This silence is a test of nerves. Others, uncomfortable with it, will rush to speak. They'll either agree or argue, and either way, you've gained valuable information without spending any more of your own authority. If someone challenges you, don't jump into a rebuttal. A powerful technique is to respond with a question that puts the burden back on them. Why do you see it that way? Or what part of my position don't you agree with? This makes you the evaluator, not the one on trial. A leader doesn't scream at the crowd, they speak, and their words are law. Embody these. Speak less, but let your words carry weight. State your reality, and let others adjust to it. Your intentions are your most valuable asset. Revealing them too early is like a general announcing his battle plan to the enemy. Machiavelli would be horrified by our obsession with oversharing, broadcasting every thought, ambition, and next move. This kills your power by giving leverage to everyone watching. Every goal you announce publicly gives your rivals a chance to sabotage you. Announce you're looking for a new job, and a jealous colleague might quietly undermine you. Announce your big business idea, and you give other people the chance to do it first. Announce you're getting in shape, and you invite judgment and the quiet satisfaction of others if you fail. Power is maintained through mystery. When no one knows what you're doing, they can't effectively oppose you. They're left guessing, wasting their energy on scenarios you have no intention of creating. Meanwhile, you move in silence, conserving your energy and acting only when the moment is perfect. The reason we overshare is a deep need for validation. We announce our plans to get encouragement, to feel like we're already succeeding. But the quick satisfaction of a like is a poor trade for the tactical advantage of secrecy. A person who needs their plans validated by a crowd depends on their approval, and dependency is the opposite of power. The Machiavellian approach is to be a black hole of information. Let your actions speak, not your intentions. When people ask about your plans, be pleasantly, infuriatingly vague. Master the non-answer. Use phrases like, "I'm exploring a few options," or "we'll see what the future holds." They're polite, but they give away nothing. This creates an aura of mystique. People become fascinated by what you're holding back. Your silence forces them to watch your actions more closely, trying to piece together your strategy. This intense observation is a form of respect. Cesare Borgia, a figure Machiavelli admired, was a master of this. His movements were swift, and his intentions were hidden. Enemies were often conquered before they even knew they were a target. He didn't boast. He acted and let the results build his reputation. Adopt this discipline in your own life. Keep the details of your ambitions for a tiny, trusted circle if anyone. In public, show nothing but calm focus. Let your success be a surprise. When you finally make your move, launch the business. Get a promotion, it will end with the force of a thunderclap. Because no one saw it coming, it will seem effortless and brilliant. Because the long, messy preparation was hidden from view. Let others talk about the mountains they're going to climb. You just climb yours and let them marvel at the view from the top when you're already there. Complaint is the language of the powerless. It's a broadcast that you're a victim of your circumstances and you need pity or help. From a Machiavellian view, complaining is one of the most self-destructive things you can do. It slowly destroys the respect people have for you. Desperation is complaint's ugly twin. It's the vibe that you need something approval, a sale, attention. It leaks from your posture and your tone of voice, and like blood in the water, it attracts predators. People can smell neediness, and it repels them. The person who needs nothing commands the room. The person who needs anything is at the mercy of others. Think about the chronic complainer you know, the colleague who's always sighing about their workload, the friend who constantly vents about their problems. Over time, you start to see them as ineffective and draining. You avoid them. Their complaints just become background noise. A person of substance doesn't complain. They either act to change things or endure them in stoic silence. If a situation is unacceptable, they fix it. If it can't be fixed, they accept Italiano. Complaining does neither. It just solidifies your identity as a victim. The strategic alternative is to project an aura of abundance and self-sufficiency, especially when you don't feel it. This isn't arrogance. It's a quiet confidence that you're in control of your own world. You act as if nothing is missing. In a negotiation, the party that seems less desperate always gets the better deal. In a social setting, the person who is perfectly comfortable standing alone is the one people are drawn to. They don't need your approval, and so you become eager to give it. This is the paradox of power. The less you appear to need from others, the more they'll want to offer you. How do you do this? First, ruthlessly eliminate public complaints. If you have a problem, solve it. If you can't, frame it as a challenge you're working on, not a burden you're suffering under. This project is a nightmare. It's a complaint. This project has some unique challenges where strategizing to overcome is a statement of power. Second, control your nonverbal signals of desperation. Speak slowly, don't lean in too eagerly. Hold eye contact, but don't be afraid to be the first to look away. Maintain a relaxed posture. Let your physical presence communicate that you are comfortable in your own skin. This detachment from the outcome is a powerful weapon. When you let go of your desperate need for a specific result getting the job, being liked, you free yourself to act with clarity. You can walk away from a bad deal. You can stay silent when others expect you to plead. This indifference is terrifying to manipulators and attractive to everyone else. It signals that your validation comes from within, and a person who creates their own validation can't be controlled. Public criticism is an act of war. To call someone out openly is to create a permanent enemy and force everyone else to choose a side. Machiavelli knew that a publicly humiliated person will never forgive you. They will wait for the perfect moment to get revenge, usually when you're at your most vulnerable. As Robert Greene wrote, adapting a Machiavellian principle: if you must strike a king, you must kill him. This isn't literal, of course. It's a strategic metaphor. It means that if you're going to publicly attack someone with power, you better be sure you can remove them completely. A failed public attack creates a wounded, vengeful enemy who will dedicate themselves to your destruction. Most of the time, it's not worth the risk. The amateur thinks pointing out a flaw in a boss's plan during a meeting makes them look smart. This is a huge miscalculation. Even if you're right, you've shamed your superior in front of their team. They won't see you as a brave truth-teller. They'll see you as a troublemaker. Your boss will now view you as a threat, and your career there is probably over. Even criticizing a peer openly is a dangerous game. It can look like you're trying to push them down to lift yourself up, breeding resentment and distrust. The Machiavellian path is far more subtle. Power is wielded with a scalpel in the shadows, not a sledgehammer in the town square. Instead of direct confrontation, you plant seeds of doubt. If a superior's plan is flawed, don't announce it to everyone. Approach them privately. Frame your concern as a desire to help them succeed. Say something like, "I've been thinking about your plan, and I'm really excited. I had one thought about a potential obstacle, and I wanted to run a possible solution by you to make sure we're prepared." This lets them see the flaw without losing face. You get what you want without making an enemy. If a rival is incompetent, don't call them out. Let their own incompetence do the work. Give them enough rope to hang themselves. Sometimes the most powerful move is to step back and do nothing, letting a flawed person or plan fail on its own. When it all collapses, you, who remain silent, will look wise. When you must neutralize a threat, let others do the dirty work. Subtly feed information to another one of your rival's competitors and let them launch the attack. This keeps your hands clean. You can even appear to be the reasonable one trying to find peace, which only enhances your own reputation while your enemies tear each other down. Silence and distance are your best tools for criticism. If you disapprove of someone's behavior, you don't need to make a speech. Just withdraw your attention. Become cooler, more distant. Your silence is the judgment. It's far more unsettling than an angry lecture and preserves all of your power. A loud reaction to an insult is an admission that it hurt. The person who flinches, snaps back, or immediately gets defensive is communicating one thing: you hit a nerve. Your emotional response is the proof your attacker was looking for. You hand them control the moment you lose control of yourself. Manipulators and trolls thrive on reactions. They throw out a subtle insult or a backhanded compliment as a test, waiting for an emotional echo that tells them where your insecurities are. When you give them that echo, you've given them a map to your mind. Think of an online troll. Their entire goal is to get a response. A furious, defensive reply is their victory. It shows they got under your skin. The most powerful response: silence. Deletion. A block. No reaction at all. This silence is maddening for the provocateur. It communicates that their words are so insignificant they don't even deserve a response. This applies everywhere. A colleague makes a sarcastic remark about your work. The amateur move is to get defensive. The Machiavellian move is to pause. Hold eye contact for just a second too long. Maybe offer a slow, slight smile. Then, turn your attention back to the matter at hand without acknowledging their comment. This calculated non-reaction robs the attacker of the satisfaction they wanted. It makes them look petty and small to everyone else, and it positions you as superior and phased and in control. The power dynamic shifts instantly. You didn't just ignore the insult. You absorbed its energy and made it disappear. This requires incredible discipline. Your ego will scream at you to retaliate. You have to train yourself to override that impulse. The key is the pause. When you're insulted, don't respond for at least 3 seconds. Breathe. Observe. In those few seconds, your initial rush of anger will fade, and your rational mind will take over. From this place of calm, you have several powerful options. The pause and redirect. As described before, just pause. Then continue the conversation as if nothing happened. The question of intent. Pause. Look at them with genuine curiosity. And ask, what did you mean by that? This forces them to either double down and look like a bully, or backpedal and look like a coward. Strategic agreement. Sometimes, the most disarming tactic is to agree with the insult in a way that minimizes it. If someone says, "That presentation was clumsy," you can respond with a calm smile. "You're right. The delivery could have been smoother. I was more focused on getting the data right." This acknowledges a minor flaw while asserting your superior priorities. The ultimate power is choosing not to play their game. When someone disrespects you, they're inviting you into a low-status conflict. Decline the invitation. By refusing to react on their terms, you force everyone to operate on yours. A king doesn't worry about arguments in the marketplace. He stays in his castle, watching the bigger picture, saving his energy for important matters. Getting drawn into petty conflicts, office gossip, he said, she said dramas, like voluntarily descending from the castle to wrestle in the mud. It lowers your status and wastes your energy. Every petty conflict is a trap. When you take a side, you instantly alienate the other half. Your involvement reveals your biases, giving people a clearer picture of how to manipulate you in the future. Think of classic workplace drama. 2 colleagues are fighting. They come to you separately, trying to get you on their side. The amateur, wanting to be a loyal friend, listens and gets involved. Now, they're tangled up. Their energy is consumed by the drama, and they're seen as part of a faction. The Machiavellian strategist, however, stays neutral. They listen politely, offering vague sympathy like, "That sounds like a difficult situation," without giving an opinion. They position themselves as a neutral party to everyone, which gives them access to information from all sides without being loyal to any. They stand above the fight, watching the others exhaust themselves and reveal their weaknesses. This neutrality isn't passive. It's a position of immense power. From this viewpoint, you can see the whole board. You understand everyone's motivations and strategies. Then you can act when the time is right, in a way that serves your own long-term goals, not the short-term drama of others. To apply these, adopt a mindset of radical neutrality in all low-stakes conflicts. When you hear gossip, don't add to it. Listen, nod, and change the subject. That's interesting. By the way, have you seen the latest project figures? This signals you're not a player in that game. When asked to take a side, politely decline. "I prefer to stay out of it, since I value my relationship with both of you." This frames your neutrality as a sign of respect. When you see a public argument, don't get involved unless it serves a direct, strategic purpose. Just watch. Note who loses their temper, who uses logic, and who uses personal attacks. You're gathering valuable data. Your time and energy are your most valuable resources. Don't waste them on battles that offer no strategic gain. Let others exhaust themselves in petty fights. Save your strength for what really matters. A reputation for being above the drama is a reputation for being powerful. Before you say a word, your body has already given a speech. Your posture and movements broadcast a constant stream of information. Someone who fidgets, slouches, or moves with anxious energy is screaming, "I am not confident. I am not in control." Every nervous twitch undermines your authority more than any word ever could. The ruler who appears calm, solid, and deliberate projects an unspoken sense of control. An unreadable body commands a primal sort of respect. In contrast, a body that betrays weakness invites disrespect. It tells the world you're not a threat, and maybe even a target. Imagine 2 people giving a presentation. Both have a strong argument. The first presenter fidgets, shifts their weight, and avoids eye contact. The second stands still, rooted to the spot. Their gestures are slow and deliberate. They hold eye contact with calm authority. Whose message has more impact? It's obvious. The second presenter's physical composure amplifies their words, while the first presenter's physical anxiety cancels them out. To command a room, you have to retrain your body to be an instrument of power. This starts with mastering stillness. Practice being physically quiet. When you're sitting in a meeting, place your hands calmly on the table or in your lap and leave them there. Resist the urge to tap your pen or check your phone. When you're standing, plant your feet shoulder-width apart. This grounded posture communicates stability. Next, control your movements. Confident people move with purpose. They don't rush. Walk into a room at a steady, relaxed pace. When you reach for a glass of water, do it slowly. When you gesture, make it a firm. This is Sibe motion, not a nervous twitch. Your posture is the foundation of your authority. Stand and sit tall, with your shoulders back. Slouching is the universal sign of defeat. It physically constricts your lungs, making your voice weaker. An upright posture opens your chest, allowing you to breathe more deeply and speak from your diaphragm, which naturally gives your voice a lower, more resonant tone that is subconsciously associated with authority. Finally, master your eye contact. Don't stare aggressively, but hold your gaze with calm confidence. When someone is speaking, give them your full attention. When you speak to a group, let your eyes move slowly from person to person. Don't be the first to break eye contact in a tense moment. Holding your gaze calmly under pressure is a profound display of dominance. By consciously controlling your body, you're not just projecting an image. You're changing your own internal state. A powerful posture can actually make you feel more confident. A calm body helps to calm the mind. It's a feedback loop of power that starts with your physical presence and radiates outward. The desperate need to be liked is the most common and pathetic form of weakness. To chase approval is to hand over all your power to the person whose approval you seek. You change your opinions, soften your standards, and laugh at jokes you don't find funny, all in a sad attempt to win favor. This doesn't earn you respect. It earns you contempt. People don't value what is desperately given. They value what is scarce, what is high standards, and what is unbending. Machiavelli's prince wasn't concerned with being loved, but with being effective. He understood that being loved is pleasant, but it's a fickle foundation for power. Respect and the fear of disrespecting you as a far more stable motivator. Chasing likability erodes this respect. The nice guy who finishes last isn't a victim. He's the architect of his own irrelevance. He has signaled that his standards are negotiable and that others' approval matters more than his own integrity. Authority isn't given to those who beg for it. It's taken by those who embody it. The person who is willing to be disliked, to hold an unpopular opinion, or to enforce a difficult standard is the one who is seen as a leader. People are naturally drawn to the unshakable person in the room. They might not always like them, but they will respect them and look to them for direction. Think of the manager who wants to be friends with their team. They avoid difficult conversations and overlook missed deadlines. The result, the team's performance suffers, and they don't respect the manager. They see a pushover. Now, consider the manager who sets a high standard and holds everyone accountable. They may not be invited to every party, but their team performs at a high level, and they are respected as a true leader. The Machiavellian strategy is to become the source of the standard. You don't adjust to the temperature of the room. You set it. This means being polite, but firm. First, define your own principles and don't compromise on them for social comfort. This could be a standard of work, quality, a personal code of conduct, or a boundary in a relationship. Second, be willing to say no. It's one of the most powerful words there is. It's a declaration of your boundaries and your priorities. A firm, polite no, without a long, apologetic explanation, is a profound statement of self. Third, detach yourself from the opinions of others. Their approval is a nice bonus, not a necessity. Your validation must come from your own adherence to your own standards. This internal source of control is the bedrock of true confidence. When you're truly indifferent to whether someone likes you, you're liberated. You can act with pure strategic clarity, and this indifference is magnetic. People, sensing you don't need them, will start working to earn your approval. The dynamic is completely reversed. Stop trying so hard. Stop laughing at every joke. Stop agreeing with every opinion. Be civil, be fair, but maintain a core of unshakable principle. People will adjust to your standards. You'll lose some friends, but you'll gain the respect of those who matter. In the calculus of power, that's a trade worth making every time. These 9 laws aren't just manipulation tricks. They're disciplines of to control a room, you must first control yourself. To become unreadable to others, you first have to understand your own impulses and insecurities and build the internal strength to keep them from ruling you. Machiavelli's philosophy isn't about being cruel. At its core, it's a brutally honest manual on how human power dynamics work. It teaches that the world is a strategic landscape, and to navigate it, you have to be a strategist, not a sentimentalist. This doesn't mean abandoning morality, but understanding that the appearance of strength and the reality of control are essential for success. To master strategic silence is to discover your presence speaks louder than your voice. To control your reactions is to reclaim the power you once gave away. To control your body is to master the first and most important territory you will ever rule. And to stop chasing approval is to finally become the standard that others seek to meet. This path isn't easy. It requires constant vigilance and a willingness to go against your deepest social conditioning. It requires you to be an observer in a world of performers. But the reward is a form of power that is quiet, profound, and absolute. It's the power that comes not from what you do or say, but from what you are. A solid, centered, and unshakable force. You don't need to take control of the room. When you mastered these principles, control will simply follow you. If you're ready to stop being a pawn and start understanding the game on a Master S level, subscribe for more lessons in strategic thinking and the timeless art of power. The world is it's time you learned how to play.